Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you're from. And welcome to, I don't know, my attempt at working live. Appreciate all of you joining me this morning. So, the idea today, right, is I had a bunch of manual tasks I needed to do. And I'm like, man, it'd be really nice if they were in my app. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go fix the app. And then I'm like, well, I got to make a YouTube video today. So let's just combine it all into one big mess. So that's the idea. We're going to take this app of mine that I use every week for production stuff, and we're going to add a bunch of features to it. Hopefully, not break anything. Okay. So, real quick, an overview of the app is let's see, play. So, as part of our university training program, right? It's like a 6-month program that includes, a mentor and then like a bunch of live classes with me and then a bunch of other stuff. But basically, once a week, I need to send out the live invites, right? So they're typically at the same time every week, but I want to get a calendar invite and I want to tell people what each week's topic is because it's always in flux. So I built this app where I come in here, I fill out, what we're going to do, when's it going to be, and then I write something about the event, and then I use AI here to make it better. And then I hit send, and so when I hit send, it then runs. Let's see, 11. It runs this flow. So this flow is triggered by PowerApps. It goes and hits the Thinkific API. So that's who hosts our training platform. And when it hits the API, it returns the list of students. So I parse that data. I filter out any of the PowerApps 911 people. I then create a Teams meeting. And when I create the Teams meeting, it's just the meeting without any attendees. So I create the blank meeting. I then loop through. Let's do this. I then loop through the parsed email addresses and put them all into this JSON format, because what I'm trying to do is I build up an array of all of the email addresses of all the currently enrolled students, right? Like we have, what did I say this morning? I don't know, almost, it's more than 50, it's a bunch. Students, but it's always like people are in and out because it's a 6-month program. So every week I got to grab the live list and then I throw it into one big array. And then once I have that array, I then go down here and I use the Graph API to post the array. And so I do hide attendees to true, so that way they don't see each other's email addresses, and then response requested false, so that way I don't get all the accepts, right? Makes my life easier. So this is how the thing works today. Okay. And we're gonna have to come back here. So we'll definitely get to see this more. But so, all right, there's 2 things that I need to add to this to make my life better. This is all about me today. So one is that I want to be able just to send an email. So for like next week's university, I don't want to send them an invite because we're not having a live session specific for them, but there's a bunch of other live sessions that are happening, right? So they get invited to office hours, and then we're doing the Copilot Studio class, and so that's part of university. So I want to make sure they know what's going on for the week, but I don't want to send them an invite. I just want to send them an email. So traditionally, what I would do is just go to my training platform and download the lists and then BCC all of them. It's a giant pain in my butt, quite frankly. Okay. So I want to change this so that it has an option for email them, but not do the invite. So that's one. The other one is, so university, it's a rolling 6-month program, but there's also, we run, every couple of weeks we're running some type of other live class. Like, so this week I had 301 live. And so, we had a bunch of people in there. And so with them, I did the whole download their list, BCC them, and sent them their welcome email. It works, it's fine, but it's not a great experience for them or for me. And so what I want to be able to do, so Tuesday we have a live Copilot Studio class. I got to send out the invite to those people. So I want to update that flow to have an option to send and have it grab different classes. And then when it grabs a different class, then, be able to generate an invite or send an email address to that class. Okay. So I don't know. That is what I am trying to think my way through, right? So this is all just for making my life easier. Okay, so the first thing I think I want to try to do is just take this existing one, right? It's just defined for university people, and let's make it so there's an email only option. So I'm going to throw a label on here, right? And as I mentioned in the promo for this, like I didn't plan, I didn't test. I'm totally making this up as we go, right? So we're gonna have a little flag here for email only, and then we will throw a I like toggles. We'll throw a toggle. Okay, so we're gonna throw this down here, and that should work. All right, so then that's probably toggle one. Yep, so we'll call this toggle email only. Okay, so it should be off by default. That's right, because normally when I come in here, right, the most common use is still going to be the core use today, right? Just sending university students their updates. But so if we're going to be able to send this, then we need to update the flow to receive this parameter, right? Like I could do it as two separate flows, but I think I'm just going to try to keep it as one flow. Or do you think it'd be better just doing two flows? I don't know. I'll look in chat. You guys have any preference? One flow, two flows? I thought you're making the one flow and just having an if statement in there. Like, so if this is set, then go this way. If not, go that way. That's what I think. All right, one flow is the only vote I see so far. So, all right, we're going to rock with that, at least for the moment. I like the idea. All right. So let's go back over here. Let's edit our flow. Okay. So in the flow, right, we're going to need a new parameter. So add an input. I've never used a yes, no before as an input. Why not use it for the first time? Figure it out, right? All right. I'm hoping it just wants a true false. I guess we'll find out together. All right. So what I'm going to do is because I want to find out what it does or doesn't want. So I've got that there. I'm going to go here. I'm going to add an input, compose, and then the dynamic content, see more, yes, no. All right. And then I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to do a terminate, right? Because once again, we're working in production. I got to be really careful. I don't want to accidentally send all my university students an invite. So I'm just going to use the terminate. So we're going to trigger this flow. And it's just going to show us in this compose what it got for the yes, no, and then it'll end the flow right there. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. So let's save this thing. And then Thomas asked about like managed production environments and things like that. No, so Thomas, I'll be honest, right? This is not even a solution. This is just a app and a flow that I built. It is not packaged up in any meaningful way. It probably should be. But I know like a lot of people like environments and ALM and that type of stuff. I would tell you that anecdotally, 80% of the apps that I've built are not in any type of solution. Right? People like agile. People like just to build in production. I'm not saying it's the best idea. I'm saying it's a good idea. It's the reality. In this case, this one is just a app and a flow wired together in my default environment to make my life easier. So, but no, packaging it all in solutions would be a great idea. Just not on the agenda for today anyway. Okay, so this is saved. So we jump back over here. We will go to our, I wish F11 was easier. We'll go here to Power Automate. We got to refresh the flow. When we refresh the flow, our send button should error out because we're missing a parameter. There we go. All right. So with our little send button today, right, it does a little loading spinner. It then grabs the AI that we generated, and then it runs this flow. And then it saves whatever I put in the body here into the SharePoint list. So next time I come in, I can see what's in the body. All right. So I think here we'll just do a comma. And then this should be, the Boolean, the yes, no, which should be able to just send as toggle email only dot value. And yeah, that should all work. All right. You'll notice that the send button is grayed out right now. So my send button's display mode is tied to if any of these fields are blank or I haven't done the AI check, or if this content hasn't been edited. So that way I don't send what I sent last time. I try to keep myself from making mistakes. So we'll just go here. We'll set this to test. We'll just add the word test in here. We're not sending anything by this point. And then we've got to do the check AI because that'll generate the AI variable. And so once that's generated, you'll see a preview of how that would have gotten fixed by AI. All right. So now I think it's safe to hit send, right? Let's double check myself here. But on select, it is really just going to, run the flow and then patch the thing. And then we know that we set the flow to terminate. So I shouldn't be spamming my university students. All right. So let's hit send. And then if we go over to the flow, we'll hit back. All right, there's the run. And all I really wanted to see was what do we get here? We got nothing. That's kind of rude. Did the it's down here. Oh, the yes, no came as a false. Did I not switch it to true? Oh, I didn't. Okay. All right. So I think basically the compose is like, oh, you just gave me a false, so it didn't do anything. So all right. I feel like I understand how that works. Okay, so that would come through. All right, these terminates though are wonderful, right? So then now what we want to do here, I believe, is add a condition. And we're going to say if dynamic content, yes, no, is equal to true. I don't know. All right, let's try that. I guess I should have done this to begin with. All right, Copilot, go away. Nobody wants you. All right, so if we had a condition or true, and so in the true side, that would be an email, right? So we'd say Outlook, and then we want to, I don't know why send an email is not default. That's like the most commonly used thing. All right, and so then who do we send this to? That's going to be that big old list of students that we haven't gotten yet. So we're just going to hard code it to me for the moment. 911.com. Right? Because that won't come from the Power App. The list of emails are going to come from this call. We're just not ready to put that all in yet, right? So send an email. Subject, that will come from the dynamic content. Create event subject. The body will come from the dynamic content of body. Yes, 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 right? So this would give us the ability, once we switch out the two, to send people an email with whatever is in the body. And so then on the false side, right, then that's where we're going to do the existing stuff around creating a Teams meeting and all of that, which then tells me that like all of this stuff needs to go upstream. All right, so let's be brave. So here in the HTTP action, right, all it's doing is hitting the API, Thinkific enrollments, blah, 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 blah. And right here, this is the course ID. And so that's the university course ID. And so, you know what, we want this to be dynamic, right? We want the app to send these. So yeah, so we'll go back up here. We need to add another input. Course ID. Okay, so then back down here, right there, we're going to delete that, and then we're going to insert course ID. Okay, so that should just put that into the URL on the fly. So a neat thing that I did here, just so I can tell you, I can't really show you. So in the header of my API call, I have to pass my API key, right? That's how it knows who I am and allows me to see my students. But when I demo this thing, and I demo this flow once a month or so, I don't want to show people my API key. So I put my API key in a compose. And when you have a compose, like let's go back here to this one. One of the things that you can do, right, is I can go here, settings, and I can set it to secure inputs to true. All right, so that's why you see this little lock right here. So it is secure inputs. And so when it all gets rendered, like when I look at the test run and stuff, you won't be able to see the API key. It knows not to show that in any of the outputs. So that's a pretty nice way for me to, have things in here. Like if you have edit access to flow, if I clicked on this and went in there, you would see the key, right? Like it's not hiding it from the editor, but it's hiding it from the runs and all of that. Somebody asked, is this HTTP action a premium connector? Yes. Unfortunately, HTTP actions, right, when you want to interact with APIs, they are premium. So it's kind of a bummer. But I have a premium flow license, right? It's like $15 a month and lets me, build all these type of crazy things that I need to build. Okay. So now this would get that key, right? This parses that data. So this just takes the output, right? Parses it into the pieces. This one removes the PowerApps 911 users because a bunch of them are in different classes, but I don't want them to like fill up their calendar with all these invites. So if they want to go, they need to figure it out on their own. And then we create the Teams meeting. All right, we don't want to do the create Teams meeting, but I think what we want to do, let's see, let's grab the condition. So let's make this go away, make this smaller. And I grab the condition and pull it down here under that, right? The terminate should be down here. Okay. And then I think I need to move some pieces up. So this is the filtered array of just the students, but now I need to get their email addresses. And so I did that here. Now, in order to make the Teams meeting stuff work, I needed an array. In order to make the 2 for an email work, I'm going to need I'm going to need it different, right? So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to right click on this, copy the entire action. So we're going to go in here, right click on this and paste an action, right? This is one of the things that works a lot better in the new Flow Studio, copying and pasting stuff. All right. And so it's mad. That's okay. Because I don't want to append to an array variable here. I just want to make a string. So we're going to go back up here to the top. And so this was initializing the array variable. And then this will be variables. Initialize it, right? In Flow, you have to initialize them. And so then we'll call this initialize email string variable. Inner variable name, var emails, data type is string. Okay, so that gets that variable created. So then now if we go back down here, I'm going to delete this action altogether. I'm going to, so we want to, so under variables now, what we need to do is we need to append to a string variable. And what string variable? It should be var email because it's the only string variable I have. As soon as this, did I not set it to string? I did. Why are you being ridiculous? All right, that feels like a bug. Oh, it does not like it inside there. All right, well, delete you then. All right, so if we go in here, we're going to say append a string variable, and then we're going to say, all right, I want the dynamic content from this filtered array, right? So in there we had the user email, and then this will automatically create a new apply to each loop. And so now it's happy. And then we want to put a semicolon after each one, right? Because if you're making an email, it'll be Shane semicolon, Chewy semicolon, right? And so we want to make sure that all that's good. And so then now we can change this to be, oh, well, we'll switch to advanced mode. Now we'll say our emails. So this will send the email to right, whoever's in that particular string. And just so we can see what that string looks like, we'll go right here. We'll do a compose. I use a lot of compose. Just like in my PowerApps, I use lots of labels. I like to use, oh, I named those variables the same thing. That was really dumb. All right, let's go fix that. Var email string. All right. So then now if we go down here, append to var email string. Oh, that was almost a mistake. Var email string. So the problem with being consistent with my naming, I name things the same things. And then inside of, yeah, oh yeah, then inside the send email, it'll be var email string. Ooh. All right, well, that was almost awkward. Okay. Makes sense, hopefully. So then let's try this now, right? So we got to terminate here, so we're not hopefully bothering university students. Oh, well, we would, but we changed this to be dynamic. So now we're going to have to pass in the course, and I created a demo course with that code, right? So back to our Power App we go. Oh, we probably should save this. That's probably step one. So we'll save this. I never leave Flow until it's done saving. I don't trust Flow when it comes to saving, quite frankly. So I always wait until I see the word saved before I leave. Is that good? Probably not. Is it truth? It is. Okay. So then back over here, we refresh this. It's going to be angry again because it's going to need the inputs. And so while that's refreshing, right, we can throw a label on the screen. And so then this would be course ID. And then we will insert a text input. I'll rename that to input course ID. And we're going to set it to, for right now, we're going to set it to default to that course ID, right? That's the demo one. When we're done, I'm going to set it to default to university. Now, what I haven't thought about, and I don't think we'll solve today because I feel like we're going to solve too many problems already, but I probably want to make myself then a drop down of the course IDs. But right, like, then that's going to be a different API call. Like, we're not going to try to do that today. I'm just going to make myself manually have to type in the course IDs. But that would be kind of the next iteration, I think. All right. So if we go in here, we now know that this thing is going to want a course ID, right? So this will be input course ID.text. So that is that. And then we just have to change the body up here, right? The send button is grayed out until this is something unique. And then we can say send. Hope we saw for a second. When it's processing, there's a little pop-up that says the puppies are working on it. It shows two puppies playing, but it didn't stay for very long. Okay, so then that's running. That's there. And so if I go look in my email real quick, well, I don't even know if I'm in the email list. Let's make sure I am before I go looking for an email that might not exist. So if we go in here and look at the condition, right? So, oh, you know what? It evaluated false. Oh, because I didn't check the thing. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Let's hit email only. Let's change this again, and then let's hit send again. The puppies are working on it. Yay! All right. Let's try again. 5 seconds ago. Okay, that works. So that tells us our condition works, right? It's the first time we've actually seen it work. Inside our compose, it went for 2 people, and the email went to Chewy's Gmail account, my Outlook.com account, and I got an email. I got an email. All right. That's awesome. All right. So this was one part of it, right? So then now I could come over here, put in the course ID for my university students, and then put a subject and a body, right? Like I said, they're going to get an email as soon as we finish together here. It's going to say something like, hey, here's the things going on next week. Make sure that you go check them out, right? Don't miss the live Copilot Studio class, and then the live office hours, right? So they got stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Tuesday and Thursday next week. Okay, that's cool. That's done. Now, on a usability standpoint, I'm probably going to have to think about the fact that I keep screwing up this email only and not email only flag. I kind of wonder if I'm going to need to make that more obvious. Like, so maybe when I hit send, maybe do a confirmation, like, are you sure that you wanted to send this as an email, not as an invite? I don't know. We'll see if we have time for any of that, or hopefully I'm just getting a little smarter. All right, so that was one. So now the second part of this, so we can email whoever we want. But now what I need to also be able to do is the stuff that's down here, right? So I want to be able to create a Teams meeting for the students on Tuesday, right? So we know how to pass the ID. And so like when we create the Teams meeting, like none of this would change because it's all going to be the same. Really, all of this is the same, right? The only difference would be, is there a difference? Maybe this is easier than I think it is, right? If we put all of this logic into the off side or the false side, right? Because this is where we're processing, right? So it's not email only, right? So email only is false. So then we want to do what, right? We want to create a Teams meeting. Oh, you know, we're gonna have to drag this up here. What? I can't move you inside of a condition. That seems super rude, doesn't it? All right, let's put one. Why isn't the false? There we go. Oh, because it wasn't expanded, maybe. There we go. Okay. So now we want to create a Teams meeting. This is the one that loops through and creates the array of students. This was just for me to validate that I was seeing what I thought I was seeing. I'll leave it now. And then this sends, yeah, maybe this is easier than I thought. All right. We don't need this. What's in here? Oh, okay. So this one, we should rename this. Append to array variable for mentors. All right, so we have the students, but we also have the mentors, right? So Jeff and Patrick and Steven, and we need to figure out why they're not all showing up here. We'll come back to that. But yeah, so they need to be in there as well, right? So we're going to pull this up here. All right. We don't need to terminate anymore because we're not scared. And so the terminate was just for right, to make sure we wouldn't accidentally spam those people. And down here at the bottom, let's talk about this one for a second as well, right? So notice that there's these different colors here. So this send an email, this is my error checking tool, right? And so the way that I set these up is that I go here into the settings and I configure the run after. By default, every action runs if the previous action was successful. So this one I put at the bottom of all my flows, and it is just configured, hey, if the previous step, no matter what the previous step is, doesn't matter, times out, is skipped, or fails, then it will send me an email. So this only runs if something bad happens with the rest of the flow. Right, and this is very important because when I run my Power App just says flow start. My Power App is back to its life. Like, it doesn't wait on a response. And so this will send me an email if anything happens. Right, it's just to me, subject is failed. University flow had issues, and then I give myself the URL so I can go edit the flow. I don't want to go find it. So this is a neat trick to add error handling into your flows if you ever need to do that. Okay. But so now, right, we can get rid of this. We don't need this anymore, right? We're going to clean up today too. So I don't need that. I got my emails. I got my variables. I got my key. I almost clicked on, but didn't, thank goodness. So I didn't show you. We've reconfigured this to be dynamic, right? And I've just used the little comments feature up here. So I always have all the different course numbers available to me, right? And I think while I'm thinking about that, so let's go over here. Let's add, at least for the moment, insert a label over here. And so then we'll have university, copy, paste, enter, and then we'll have demo, copy, paste, and then we'll have MCS, right? That's the class I got to send out the invites for Tuesday. You guys should come join me in my Copilot Studio class. It's gonna be fun. Okay, but so now we got just a lovely little label with these. So until I figure out how to make those automatically update going forward, at least now I'll just be able to go in here, grab this, right, copy, and then, oh my goodness, and paste it in there. Okay, so the key thing here is that my HTTP is now using the ID from the app. Parsing didn't have to change. We're just parsing the same data. Filtering out the PowerApps 911 email addresses doesn't have to change, same data. Then our condition, let's rename this. Condition email only. And so if it's true, then we're just putting together the pieces, right? We're getting these guys that and sending the email. Oh, you know what I want to do though? All right. So now that we know this works, what I really want to do is we're going to change this to go to just me and Jennifer. And then we're going to go down here. We're going to add the BCC, right? Because once again, I don't want to send all the students everybody else's email addresses. So the BCC will be var email string. The other thing that we need to do here. All right. So if we are sending the mentors, so let's select Jeff and Patrick. All right, so if we've got them, what I want to see is how am I sending that data over today, right? So if we look in here, I'm going to be doing some type of concat. All right, and I'm sending them over comma separated. All right? But if I change this comma, right, you can see it right here. So Jeff, comma, Patrick. Outlook doesn't want commas, right? Outlook wants semicolons. So we're going to separate them by semicolons. And so then that means that over here on the CC line, we'll just put them on the CC line, make my life easy. On the CC line, this reminds me of New Girl, right? CC. Switch to this. We're going to do extra PA 911. I don't know why I called it extra PA 911. That's what the mentors are. Extra PowerApps 911 employees. That's what I was trying to say there. Okay. But that's going to break the other side, right? So that fixes this side's ability to send an email, CC in the people, BCC in the people. This compose, we don't really need it. I guess we'll get rid of it. I'm going to miss you, compose. And so, yeah, so we send that. Okay. Over here, so I am, no, over here in this applied each, right? This one was set up to split the stuff that was coming from them, right? And it was splitting on the comma. But remember, I just changed the comma to be a semicolon. And so if you're not familiar with split, split takes a string, right? So Jeff, semicolon, Patrick, splits it on the semicolon. So then now it can loop through a table or an array. And then that's how we then loop through. And the reason I'm looping through is right, it's because I have to get all this extra garbage in here. And in my brain, this was the best way to do it, right? Loop through the email addresses and create this whole little piece of stuff that works. And then post it in our error catching. Let's hit save. This is kind of exciting. Like this is what I needed. This is what I was going to build, whether you guys were watching or not. So hopefully watching me build it is interesting, at least a little interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody got any questions, comments, anything? I think I've done what I wanted. I'm going to change my little V2 down here to be V3. I'm going to save and publish this puppy, but the only other thing I think I want to test real quick. Right, so if I turn off email only now, right, so this should create a meeting invite for all of the demo students, right? It's the demo number. So it'll send a meeting invite to Chewy and me, and then to Jeff and Patrick. And we'll say delete, not real. Yeah. All right. Let's try it. So we'll say send. The puppies are working on it. That's hilarious. Oh, I did not refresh the flow inside the app. Uh-oh. You think bad things happened? All right. It didn't blow up. Like, I don't think we add anything. Oh, look at that. And so my personal email got the thing. Decline, but cool. Very cool. All right. I'm happy. You guys happy? Anything I can cover before we wrap this video up? It's probably a little longer than the YouTube video like, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take this and repackage it like as is, but I'm gonna repackage it as Monday's video. And so I'll publish it out with just a new header and footer. So. All right. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you joining me. Hopefully this was interesting. At least a different way to do all of this. Well, with that, then I'm just going to say thanks and have a great day.